The Song of Solomon by Brother R.W.S. The Sixth Song, Chapter 4, verse 8 to 16, and Chapter 5, verse 1. We start with a revised translation. Bridegroom. With me thou lookest from Lebanon, my spouse, with me from Lebanon. Thou lookest from the top of Amana, from the top of Senir and Hermon, from the dens of lions, from the mountains of the leopards. Thou hast ravished my heart with one glance of thy eyes, with one turn of thy neck. How sweet is thy love, my sister, my spouse! How much better than wine, and the smell of thy perfumes beyond all spices. Thy lips, O my spouse, drop as the honeycomb, honey and milk are under thy tongue. The smell of thy garments is like Lebanon. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed. Thy productions are a paradise of pomegranates and pleasant fruits, camphor and spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all the trees of frankincense, myrrh, aloes, together with all the spices. A fountain of gardens, a well of living waters, and streams from Lebanon. The Bride. Awake, O north wind! Come, O south, and blow upon my garden, that the spices thereof may flow out. Then let my beloved come into his garden, and eat his pleasant fruits. Bridegroom. I am come into my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have eaten of my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine and my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yea, drink abundantly, O beloved. Explanatory notes and comments. Chapter 5, verse 8. With me thou lookest from Lebanon, my spouse. With me from Lebanon. Thou lookest from the top of Amana, from the top of Senir and Hermon, from the dens of lions, from the mountains of the leopards. The opening verse of this song I have taken from the translation of Dr. Well-Beloved. The ordinary translation lay too much stress on the word come, in the sense of come away, but the original especially points to the word look. I illustrate this with extracts from two expositions from books I have on my own bookshelf. This is how they expound the ordinary text. Here from the place of wild beasts the Lord in his tender mercy calls his bride away. Come with me from Lebanon, from the dens of lions, from the mountains of the leopards. Song of Solomon, Nesbit, 1880. Here is an invitation that the spouse should come away. Come to the arms of her beloved, a place of refuge and perfect security. Song of Solomon, Joseph Bush. The bride was perfected in Sinai, glorified before she came to the land of Palestine, and with her bridegroom as King Messiah, has helped him to destroy the enemy from the land. She is no longer in danger, though previous to her Lord's coming, her danger was real. Here is a literal translation of this verse, and it gives the correct sense. Thou from Lebanon, my spouse, from Lebanon. Come, look from the top of Amana, from the top of Senir and Hermon, from the dwelling places of lions, from the mountains, dwelling places of leopards. The word Lebanon covers two long ranges of mountains, the west and east, which are north of Palestine. This district was included in the division of the land by Joshua, but never came into the possession of Israel. Mount Senir and Mount Hermon are different names for the same mountain. See Deuteronomy 3 verse 9. It was the highest point and overlooked God's land. Mount Amana was in the same range. Here, in time past, according to the song, she lived estranged from her own land, actually in many foreign lands. In these lands were many dangers. Many of this vast multitude, now one with the bridegroom and immortal, had experience of wild beasts and more wild and cruel human beings. Now is the day of glory. The land of promise lies before them. The bridegroom joyfully says, "Look at it from the top of these mountains, and see the wonderful sight. A land flowing with milk and honey, now the glory of all lands." Co-heirs with King Messiah. With what joy Moses stood on such a mountain and viewed it afar from another angle. He was not allowed to enter it at that time, but will now. Abraham saw it, walked through the length and breadth of it, yet never possessed so much as he could put his foot on. A stranger in the land, God promised it to him and to his seed. Moses, Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, David, and a vast multitude of all ages and nationalities, now heirs of this land and all lands, co-heirs with King Messiah. With what joy they will now gaze on this wonderful sight as they obey the bridegroom's request to look. Viewing it from the mountain tops, they will give glory to God. Dr. Thomas made a few comments on the Song of Solomon, but one I have taken from the Christadelphian of August 1889 is deeply interesting and to the point. When the Messiah is enthroned as king of the land, and proceeds to take possession of it to its utmost limits, he will say, and he quotes chapter 4 verse 8, and continues, taking up their position upon that commanding border, the sons of Zion. Now in this song, the Queen, may now view the landscape of the goodly land, fragrant with rich odours, a land flowing with milk and honey, outstretching eastwards in all the length of the Euphrates to the West Sea. The atmosphere of Palestine is so clear that standing on Mount Hermon over 10,000 feet high, all the land will be clearly seen. Hermon is understood by many to be the same hill where Peter, James, and John saw the Transfiguration. Moses and Elijah and the disciples represented the glorious host who now, in the song, stand gazing from Mount Hermon. Chapter 4, verse 9. Thou hast ravished my heart, my spouse, my sister. Thou hast ravished my heart with a glance of thine eyes, with one charming turn of thy neck. The sight of this enraptured host, their delight as they look upon God's land, causes Jesus to express his love and appreciation, especially as their heads turn spontaneously and their eyes glisten with love and gratitude towards the altogether lovely one, who gave his life that they might live eternally. The bridegroom's heart is captivated by this one glance of their eyes, and by the oneness of the turn of their necks. Although the ordinary translation of the Hebrew word is correct in most places, it is not so in this song. It is not an ornament that ravishes the bridegroom's heart. It is the charming way she turns her neck. Dr. Good gives the meaning of the Hebrew words as a turn round, a spiral round itself, a circle, and hence sometimes a clasp or chain. Bishop Percy uses the same translation. First, in his Hebrew lexicon, says it carries the idea of stretching out. It is natural for one to stretch the neck as we turn the head suddenly. Dr. Good says the equivalent in the Arabic is often used in the sense of the above translations. Chapter 4, verse 10. How sweet is thy love, my spouse, my sister! How much better is thy love than wine, and the smell of thy perfumes beyond all spices. This vast host is not only the bride of Christ. They are his brethren and sisters of the Lord Jesus, the Messiah, Christadelphians, the Greek form in reality, sons and daughters of the living God, born of God through belief and baptism into Christ, and a continued obedience, now in this song partakers of divine nature like the bridegroom Jesus. How sweet is the love of this mighty, glorified host to Jesus! How exhilarating! Much more than the effect of the choicest wine, much more than the effect of the most delightful perfume in the spices that surround them, to their Redeemer. There is something that surrounds some men and women which causes a delightful and comforting sensation, even if they're not looking or speaking to us in particular. It is much more pleasant than the presence of any perfume. How much more so must the atmosphere which surrounds this glorified host be unto Jesus, who has bestowed so much love and care on their perfection, to him who now glories in the work he has completed. Proverbs 27, verse 9, illustrates this verse we are considering. Ointment and perfume rejoice the heart. So doth the sweetness of a man's friend by hearty counsel. Chapter 4, verse 11. Thy lips, O my spouse, drop as the honeycomb. Honey and milk are under thy tongue, and the smell of thy garments like the smell of Lebanon. The view before them of the land flowing with milk and honey, the scent of the trees of Lebanon around them, is the keynote of the beautiful description of the bride by the bridegroom. Wisdom and honey are allied in Proverbs 14, verse 13 and 14. Eat honey, my son, for it is good, the honeycomb, for it is sweet to thy palate. So acquire thou knowledge and wisdom to thy soul. It was the usual thing in Palestine for bees to form their nests in trees and hollow places. Thus we read in the 1st of Samuel, chapter 14, verse 25 to 27, of honey dropping from the wood, and Jonathan thrusting in his rod into the honeycomb. In eastern countries, says Mr. Roberts, the forests literally flow with honey. Large combs can be seen, as you pass, hanging from the trees full of honey. Even in the rocks, Psalm 81, verse 16, and with the honey out of the rocks would I have satisfied thee. Deuteronomy 32, verse 13, he made him suck honey out of the rocks. Truly the land on which they gazed was a land flowing with milk and honey. Before an individual can drop honey as from a honeycomb, there must have been a diligent search from flower to flower for the honey, a literal eating of the word of God. Honey and milk under the tongue, kindness, tenderness of expression, such as came from the lips of Jesus when last on earth, as he uttered those gracious words. Pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to taste and healthful to the bones. Proverbs 16, verse 24. Such were the words that naturally slipped from the lips of this glorified bride. Like the land before them that flowed with milk and honey, so like Lebanon their garments had the same sweet sense and fragrance. Lebanon was celebrated for its sweet-scented trees, which naturally give odorous gums and balsams. Dr. Mason Good paraphrases this part of the verse. And Lebanon in luscious odours dressed pours all his incense o'er thy bridal vest. Another beautiful description of the bride is taken from the whole view before them. He compares her to a paradise, special land, perfectly prepared and walled around, full of the most delightful of trees and plants, watered by living streams. Such will be the land of Palestine in this coming day. Even that which is now desert will blossom as the rose. See Psalm 72, Isaiah 2 and 35, and so many other places in God's Word. This is how I look upon you, said the enraptured bridegroom. Chapter 4, verse 12. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse, a spring shut up, a fountain sealed. Dr. Good's paraphrase. My bride, my love, in thee perfection meets, a garden walled, those matchless sweets to shield, a spring enclosed, a fountain fresh and sealed, a paradise of plants where all unite, dear to the smell, the palate, or the sight, of rich pomegranates that at random blow, nard, saffron, cinnamon the dulcet was. Deep through their canes the calamus prepares, the scented aloes, and each shrub that showers gums from its veins and spices from its flowers. A pride of gardens, fount of endless sweets, wellspring of all in Lebanon that meets. These are recognized terms among the Hebrews to denote not only a state of virginity before marriage, but also fidelity after marriage, whereby the spouse was ever kept sacred to her husband. Proverbs 5, verse 15 to 18 illustrates. Drink from waters out of thine own cistern, and running waters out of thine own well. Let them be thine own, and not a stranger with thee. Let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Allison writes in his Present State of the Jews, about 150 years ago, the bridegroom, before the consummation of the marriage, puts up a prayer to God in which is this petition: Suffer not a stranger to enter into the sealed fountain, that the servant of our loves, the bride, may keep the seed of holiness and purity, and be not barren. Dr. Parkhurst, in his Hebrew lexicon on the Hebrew word for garden in the Miscellany of Eastern Languages, quotes a case where Fivu, a Visar, having divorced his wife on suspicion of criminal conversations with the Sultan, the wife's brothers apply for redress from the judge. They said, My lord, we rented to Fivu a delightful garden, a terrestrial paradise. He took possession of it, encompassed it with high walls, and planted it with the most beautiful trees that bloomed with flowers and fruit. Compare Songs, chapter 4, verse 12 to 14. He hath broken down the walls, plucked the tender flowers, devoured the finest fruit. Compare Canticles, chapter 5. and would now restore to us this garden robbed of everything that contributed to make this garden delicious. Fiviu in his defence, and the Sultan on his attestation, carried on the same allegory. So in this kind of language, which was so well known, Jesus compares his bride to the same beautiful paradise, high-walled, protected by God Almighty, watered, sustained by the living water of life, with delightful trees and shrubs, every one bearing flowers, fruit, and sending forth a delightful perfume. Trees of righteousness. Every individual, a tree or plant, contributes his share. Some trees large, some plants small. One a pomegranate, one a camphor, one a frankincense. Tall trees as frankincense, myrrh, and aloes. Small ones as saffron and spikenard, which grew very near the ground. Like the companion comparison by the apostle, different parts of the body, but making one whole. Living waters, John 4 verse 14. The bridegroom's promise to those who should constitute the bride is, "The water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water, springing up into everlasting life." In the book of Revelation, Jerusalem, the new one, is likened to a bride adorned for her husband, great high walls, but inside not dwelling houses, but a delightful paradise. One great wood of life, not one tree only, as in Eden, each tree bearing 12 manner of fruits, and the leaves for the healing of the nations. Dr. Thomas, in his Eureka, Volume 3, page 703, says, "The wood produced fruit and leaves. A tree without fruit may be very beautiful to look at, but would not be life-sustaining, and a tree without leaves would be dead, or in the winter of its existence. A wood of trees producing fruit every month, or all the year round, and covered with beautiful unfading leaves, or, in the words of Solomon, an orchard of pomegranates with pleasant fruits, cypress and spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon with all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes with all the chief spices, is a soul-inspiring symbol of outflowing, fragrant, genial and happying influences of the New Jerusalem paradise in the healing principles brought to bear upon the nations in its administration of the affairs of the subjected world." Bride. Chapter 4, verse 16. "Wake, O north wind, and come, O south, and blow fresh o'er my garden, that its spicy stores, more freely given, may fill the balmy air. Then let my beloved one come into his garden, enjoy its rest, and eat its pleasant fruits." This paraphrase of Joseph Bush sums up the ideas contained in the bride's request. Dr. Good says, "She addresses the south wind that under his genial and maturing influence the fruits of her garden may ripen, and its gums and spices flow forth, and in due season the north wind may breathe a reanimating coolness during the languid heat of the noon, and fan her well-beloved with odoriferous gales." Bridegroom. Chapter 5, verse 1. "I am come into my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have eaten of my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine and my milk. Eat, O friends, drink, yea, drink abundantly, O beloved." Here is a beautiful paraphrase by Joseph Bush, which helps to force home the beauty and teaching of the original. "Into my garden I'm come, my sister spouse. I have gathered of its pleasant fruits, my myrrh, my spice. I've eaten with delightful taste, my honeycomb, sweet treasure, and I've drunk my wine, my milk, delicious draught. O friends, rejoice with me in this my joy. Eat and drink, yea, drink abundantly, for it is but meet, that with one heart and mind, one common gladness, we shall rejoice on this most happy day. Jesus joins the company of brethren and sisters. They together hold sweet communion. They rejoice in each other's presence. They mutually give thanks to God. Jesus enjoys the delightful companionship of all his saints. The friends, the angels, as in the other song, those commanded to round up the little foxes, the ministering spirits, whose work it is to minister to them that are the heirs of salvation. There is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner that repents. How will they delight in the company of this vast number of the redeemed, and will praise him through whom it has been made possible. Another scripture pictures this same scene. Revelation 7 verses 9 to 12. A great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, who stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands, and cried with a loud voice, Salvation to our God which sitteth upon the throne, and unto the Lamb. And all the angels stood round about the throne, and fell before the throne on their faces, and worshipped God, saying, Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honour and power and might be unto our God for ever and ever. Amen. To the angels and to his saints, Jesus says, Eat, ye angels, drink you, drink abundantly, my beloved.
Don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment in the comment section and let us know what you thought, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Please share it and spread the word. Thanks for watching, and remember to come back soon.